If you're an alien who dropped down from the heavens, a true UFO who had never made contact with this here planet, you knew nothing about it, but you somehow found your way to an iPhone and you found your way into that iPhone, eventually to the app section, and there was Instagram. You download the app, ding, 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 boom, downloaded. You make your little account, and as soon as you get in, you get onto the reels because that's the first thing any of us do, right? And as you're in the reels, you scroll for about 5 to 10 minutes, you would quickly come to the conclusion, or at least the assumption, that at least half of the human population are narcissists. Not because of all the selfies you see, not because of, all the booty pics that you see, etc., but simply because we use the word narcissist to describe just about any characteristic that we deem as toxic or undesirable even. Now, I've been as guilty of this as anybody else, right? I've used the terminology narcissist to categorize or label an individual who was displaying narcissistic behaviors. And I have been called a narcissist multitudes of times by individuals in a moment. However, they might have taken it back, right? You're not a narcissist today, but yesterday you were a narcissist. And one thing we really have to get to the bottom of is the miscategorization of narcissism. Now, before I get any deeper in this, I'm not a clinical psychologist or therapist. I took a very different route and a very different approach because I wanted to help as many people in the deepest and most profound way possible to move from where they are into where they want to be, right? So I am not here to categorize or clinically diagnose anybody, but I am here to point out a truth that we have to come to accept if we are actually going to heal or help those heal who have been in these traumatic situations, and even get an understanding of why the narcissist truly does what they do, right? Now, when I came into my own personal healing journey and realized that I had a lot of inner work to do, but before I was in a deep state of denial, I believed that I was okay, everything was fine. I needed to do nothing in order for my life to become what I truly desired it to become, right? I used to blame my self-sabotage on the external factors of life until I realized that I was the only factor that was contributing to the failures or the heartbreaks or the continuous patterns and negative cycles within my life, right? So when I got into that healing journey, it was through a relationship I had with a true narcissist, an individual who would be classified as a clinically diagnosed narcissist. And that was because she had such a deeply traumatic experience in her life. The type of experience that most of us would have read in a newspaper, seen on TV, etc., right? Like that type of trauma that everybody knew about. And it was so terrible and so gruesome and so heartbreaking and heart-wrenching that, of course, a young child would start to develop those characteristics as a way to defend or as a protection mechanism, against the world that they obviously deemed as unsafe from that experience, right? And so when I was in that relationship, I was obviously the codependent. I was, I guess, an individual who had the savior complex, right? I felt a need to always save individuals from themselves simply because I was hiding from myself. I was hiding from my inner work, from my shadow work. Therefore, I would go out and find people to save. And this was kind of like the Bowser. If you've ever played Mario, it's like the top level boss you fight is Bowser. This was like the top level boss I had to experience in order for me to finally start letting go of that codependency, to start letting go of getting my sense of self-worth from what I did for people or how I was able to save other people, right? Which is a byproduct of my fundamental religious upbringing. And when I started on this healing journey and I started discovering what was truly going on within me, I also started to realize that this individual who I was in relationship with, and even after being in relationship with them, I realized that their wounds and their means of manipulation, their means of coercion, their means of control were a byproduct of fear. Now, again, I'm not here to justify anybody's toxic behaviors. And I'm not the believer or the type of individual to believe that an individual is going to be a narcissist forever. It's just simply that the traumas are so deep and their level of self-awareness about, what's going on under the hood is so far removed that it seems impossible for them to change, right? Clinical psychology may say that this individual is going to be a narcissist forever, but I do believe that there is healing for all. I 1000% believe that. And I've seen transformations that are mind-boggling, right? However, when an individual is a clinical narcissist, an individual who is classified as a true narcissist due to that deep, deep trauma, everything they do is from a state of fear. So when you're the individual in relationship and you feel that you're being controlled or coerced by somebody else, you think that that person has some type of power or feels powerful. And they may have the delusion, right? The overt narcissist, as we say, has this delusion of grandeur, this delusion of being in control. But under that delusion is fear. Because as humans, we only try to control that which we fear losing control of, right? It is not our natural state to try to control conditions and circumstances, because life is continual evolution. Life is continual change. If you look into nature, everything is perpetually shifting, moving, and evolving. Nothing is staying the same. And so when we try to keep control, it is trying to keep a sameness. It is a fear. It is a sense of insecurity as opposed to inner security. And so when we look at the true classical narcissist, this individual is suffering at the deepest level. They are the most insecure. They are the most tumultuous internally. They are an individual who has never truly faced themselves at an introspective or at a deep level. And some may say they don't have the capability to. I simply say there is no desire or even a want at, a core level, because they're so deeply wounded from something that completely consumed their entire life to the point where that's all they can see when they go within. Now, again, if we tap into our spirit, we are going to find that the spirit is pure, the spirit is perfect, right? The unseen realm. I'm not trying to get woo-woo on y'all. I'm just pointing out even what scientists are now coming to realize, that unseen realm that we're tapped into, the thing that makes us who we are, as opposed to the identity that we claim or the identity that we wear, that part of us is perfect. That part of us is pure, and it is tapped into infinite consciousness. It is tapped into the infinite awareness that we may call God, we may call source, we may call universal force, the chi, the Tao, etc., right? But when we bring it back into the physical realm, what we see is the physiology that we live in obviously carries, emotions, and emotions are the indicators of what is truly taking place, within our thought process. Every emotion that we experience is the result of the thoughts that we're thinking, the stories that we're telling ourselves, the beliefs that we're continuing to engage with and entertain, right? And we start to become addicted to that emotional experience. Because again, if you become enraptured in a story within your thoughts, you feel the story through your body, and you do that continuously, you will start to build a habit, which is an addiction in essence to that emotional experience. And that emotional experience is then going to become the determiner of your life, right? That becomes your program or your conditioning in essence. And so an individual who is the classical true narcissist, not somebody who's posting, selfies every day, or somebody that you simply are just seeing as vain or cocky or arrogant, like that's different, right? A lot of that, yes, still stems from insecurity. As a matter of fact, all arrogance, all true cockiness, etc., stems as a result of insecurity. But the true narcissist, that individual has the deepest wound that has them living their entire life from a state of fight or flight. And so even when they fight, even when they attack physically, verbally, etc., all of that is a means of control. It's to keep themselves from that feeling of rejection. When they cheat, when they go out and do things behind your back, when they lie to you continuously, all of it is a self-preservation, right? An animal will go into fight or flight for a moment when it's being chased, and it's automatically out of that fight or flight. Humans have the capacity to get into fight or flight and then keep themselves in that state by rehearsing what just happened to them. Like the gazelle, after it's chased by a lion and it makes it is not eaten that day, it no longer thinks about what just happened. It loses all memory. Absolutely. It will go back to grazing. Like if you watch a lion chasing a gazelle and it does not catch that gazelle, if they continue to track it, you'll see that gazelle moments later eating. Yet when you go through an emotional experience, you have the capacity to continue to play it over because you're a conscious being. And so when you play it over, you're keeping yourself in fight or flight. Well, this individual who's a narcissist has a deeply traumatic experience in their life that is perpetually playing over and over, even if it's now at a subconscious level only, and they're not fully aware of it consciously, because of the protection mechanisms of the brain, there's a subconscious story that's playing that's keeping them in a state of fight or flight. Now, again, this isn't a victimhood story. I don't believe in victimhood on either side. I believe in being a victor. I believe that sometimes we're victimized, yes, but I believe that an identity of being a victim, being in victimhood, is a choice that we get to make. Are we going to stay in the same place that we've always been in the same cycles? Or are we going to move from that place? So the true purpose of this specific video was just to bring a deeper level of awareness, right? First and foremost, for us to be aware that not everybody is a narcissist that we don't get along with like that. Not everybody's a narcissist who we think is cocky or arrogant and cheats or runs around and does whatever. Like, I don't condone infidelity, cheating, any of the nature. I see it as cowardice. I see it as weakness of character, completely and absolutely. And if you ever caught me in a scandal like that, you get to unfollow everything I do. Don't listen to a word I've ever said because it is now no longer valid, right? However, these characteristics aren't necessarily what makes a narcissist. This may simply be a result of just, a lack of not self-awareness, a lack of self-love, a lack of self-esteem, a lack of self-worth, right? It's something that's going on internally that's expressing itself. And again, the most controlling individuals may sometimes not be a narcissist. They're just so deeply afraid of that rejection. They have that anxious attachment style. So they're going to hold on to everything in their surrounding in order to feel like they're safe. Whether it's a hoarder or an individual who controls other people, all of it is a byproduct of feeling as if I am not secure if I don't have somebody or something always with me and surrounding me and reminding me of my own existence, right? And a lot of situations as far as relationships, friendships, whatever, we use as reasons to not do that internal work. We use as reasons to stay exactly where we are. And so I have devoted and dedicated my life into the healing process, into us truly stepping into our power, getting out of that state of fight or flight and truly stepping into the power that we know we're meant to walk in. We all know we have that within us. So if you're somebody who is in this place right now in your life, I want to book a one-on-one consultation call with you. I want to book a breakthrough call so we can truly get down to the bottom of this. And if we're a match for one another from that first consultation, that we can move forward and truly work together to bring you into the state that you want to be. I believe we heal into a place of self-love, personal power, and then our life's purpose. Because at the end of the day, that's what we're truly here to do, to live in the abundance of our purpose. And the only way we can do that is to go through those healing processes, getting rid of the old story and stepping into the new one. I appreciate you for watching this. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, share it with somebody, clip it up if you want, and create shorts of it to share with your people, etc. Love you. Peace.